It's time to spill the tea. Hello!
You there, and welcome to
A Spoonful of Theatre. And this is another one of our Spill the Tea theatre review podcasts, where we review a piece of local Singapore theatre right outside the theatre foyer. I'm TJ, theatre practitioner and director.
And I'm Sam, a teacher of language, literature, and self-proclaimed show business lovey. And TJ, what have we just seen?
Well, we are at the Esplanade Theatre, and we have just seen Roald Dahl's The BFG,
Yes.
produced by a Royal Shakespeare Company, Chichester Festival Theatre, Singapore Repertory Theatre, Esplanade Theatres on the Bay, and the Roald Dahl Story Company production.
Yes, that is quite a collaboration.
Quite a collaboration.
With some of the biggest and most well-established theatre companies in the world. You think of the Royal Shakespeare Company with Sir Patrick Stewart, Sir Ian McKellen, Dame Judi Dench, and a whole plethora and army of famous actors and actresses across history.
Not to mention Matilda the musical.
Yes,
Still
of
running
course.
in the West End.
Yes, of course. And the Roald Dahl Story Company.
Yes.
Roald Dahl, one of the most famous children writers in children's literature, in children's literary history.
And two powerhouses of Singapore theatre
Absolutely.
coming together with those names,
Yes.
which is absolutely flying the Singapore flag really high with SRT and Esplanade that are coming together to make this work. So it's really exciting. It's a very exciting collaboration. So let's jump into it. We have just watched the show. Sam, what's your thoughts?
It was amazingographically charmificent. It was.
Watch the show to make that make sense.
It was very, very charming, very, very endearing. It played to its target audience, and I think we'll get to that in just a moment. Who is the target audience for this production? And it played to the target audience beautifully. And it had that, I mean, you've just read the list of the collaborators in this. It had a lot of British pantomime elements in the production, in the story, in the storytelling, that really, really played well to its target audience. What about you, TJ?
For me, it was theatre magic. The effects that they used, the way they told the story, and the puppetry. The puppetry is world class. On that stage, you have some of the best puppeteers, puppet makers coming together to tell this amazing story. It takes me back to when I saw Warhorse.
Right, yes.
Warhorse just blew me away with the puppetry, and this show did that as well. And it's something that we just don't see on Singapore stages to this level of puppetry. It's absolutely blew my mind, the puppetry. I completely agree with you that it suits its target audience, and I think let's jump into that now. So, elaborate.
It's for kids.
Yeah.
It is well and truly for kids. There's a lot of gags in there. There's a whole sequence that you could just hear the kids belly laughing, that they were enjoying it so much. But there was also the gasps and the wonderment that the children were really, really enjoying. As I was saying, the pantomime elements, you know, there were some jokes for mum and dad in there as well, some jokes that only the adults would get. But it well and truly is targeted at kids with that puppetry, with that magic. In the storytelling as well, it's quite a fast-paced story, and there are plot holes. There are plot holes, but it's Roald Dahl.
Yeah.
You don't care that there are plot holes when Roald Dahl is telling a story, because it's Roald Dahl. It's magical, and it really, really targets kids in that respect.
I agree. I think it's an amazing show to come and bring the family, bring the kids. The kids will just be in awe of the magic that they brought to the Esplanade Theatre, which, by the way, is my favourite theatre for touring productions.
Oh, yes.
It absolutely just lovely to see an amazing touring production in this theatre. But I think for me, when we're talking about the story coming alive for kids, when I think of Matilda the musical worked really well because I think adults can enjoy that too. As an adult, I adored it. It's a story from Roald Dahl that is timeless, and I think adults can really engage with, even in adulthood. For me, the BFG, I didn't quite connect with in the same way as an adult as maybe I would as a child.
Yes.
I remember reading it. I was the biggest Roald Dahl fan as a kid, and there was a bit of nostalgia for me. But I wouldn't say that I had the same feelings that I did when I came out of watching Matilda, for example. But I still had a lovely evening in the theatre.
Charlie and the Chocolate Factory is my favourite Roald Dahl story
Yeah.
because it's one of the first movies I remember watching as a kid. Showing my age here with Gene Wilder. But I grew up with Roald Dahl from a very, very young age. All I remember about the BFG was the snozzcumbers,
Yes.
but also that plays well to Roald Dahl's excellence as a writer with playing with language. And you saw that on the stage in the delivery today, in the dialogue, that there was still that constant playing with language, with grammar that was constantly incorrect, which was giving me stomach punches to my grammar teacher that's in me. But it's targeted at kids. Kids say the funniest things.
And it's endearing.
Yes.
It endears you to the BFG. And that was
Absolutely.
the whole point with the BFG. I think, he is the big friendly giant. And the way that he was portrayed was just beautiful. And I think that definitely takes me into the acting. And I do want to just quickly flick through my program because John Leader was stunning as the BFG. Really endearing. Just warm, engaging, and I know that everybody is going to absolutely fall in love with him in the audience. And it's not just him, like without spoiling too much, but it's really obvious from the trailers. The BFG comes alive in puppet form in many different sizes.
Yes.
And that was the thing I loved the most actually in the direction, because it's really hard to portray because obviously he is a giant and you have a real life human playing him. How do you make that human become giant when you have a real sized child on stage? I'd have had a big headache as a director. But it was just beautiful how they portrayed that. And I think I would say as a theatre practitioner, if you're in the arts or if you are if you understand theatre, you will get a lot from coming to watch the beautiful creative choices that's been put into the show. I was really geeking out on the theatrical aspects of it.
Oh, I bet.
So I really loved how they showed the different worlds and showed the different sizes and perspectives. How they showed the perspective on stage was absolutely incredible.
Yes, the puppetry was, again, magnificent and magical. For me, the real standout was the second size of Sophie.
Ah, yes.
It was just perfection in the movement. And you really felt like it was a little human amongst the stage. It was just sheer perfection from the puppeteers. And they have really, really worked at bringing those puppets to life. And it really is a standout for this show.
Yeah, and I think generally beautiful performances. As a teacher of children this age, I hope all 7 to 12-year-olds come and watch this show, because I know that my students would absolutely love watching those girls who play the leads. Just beautiful performances from those girls, and there's many of them that play it, and it changes every couple of nights. But lovely performances, and the adult cast all really solid as well.
Yes.
So lovely storytelling from all the performers. For me though, the highlight is definitely the technical aspects and geeking out over the lighting. What I really loved about the lighting was that they projection mapped the stage, which basically means that wherever they walk, they have these things. I was watching some geeky videos before I came to the theatre, and they're able to like put magic dots around the BFG wherever he goes, and it follows him around the stage wherever he goes. Now, where we were sat in Cat 1, I couldn't really see the floor. So my top tip for you, actually, I would have wanted to be one level up to get the full effect in the Esplanade. Like, I wish I was just a little bit higher so I could have really seen that stage magic on the floor. It didn't spoil it for me, but I know that there's so many beautiful technical aspects. And the follow spot lighting that follows them around is just really, really wonderful to see. And they've done something very different with the Esplanade, because this show was actually produced in a thrust stage. So
Stratford, wasn't it?
Yes,
Yeah.
so Singaporeans will know that like the Wild Rice stage that thrusts out into the audience. Obviously, the Esplanade is a beautiful proscenium arch stage that doesn't normally thrust out, and they built it out into the audience. And I would say they've dealt with that quite well because it's very hard to stage something in a thrust stage and then try and open it out to a proscenium arch. And I think that they definitely have done some adaptation so we don't constantly get backs to the audience. So that was really, really appreciated from a director's perspective. But I do think the one technical note that really bugged me today was the sound. I have a suspicion. I need to go and research this and find this out because we always do this straight after the theatre.
Yes,
so I'm going to go find this out soon. But the sound design sounded like the play was being performed in Malaysia. Like it was so distant. And it was in and out. It was inconsistent. So I don't know if there's some fancy technology that moves with the actors or something on stage, but it really just meant that the play didn't hit me in my chest. Like at the very beginning, you turned around to me and you said, "Are there mics on?"
Are there mics on? Yeah.
And I think that really did affect the energy in the room.
Not just that. I completely agree with you. Sound was my biggest struggle today. I did struggle to make out what some of the actors were saying. That's even more amplified with a text like Roald Dahl.
Yes.
That's using playful language, made up words that, okay, you can understand where they're the gist of those words, but you do need to hear them in order to make that gist. And sometimes that was lost.
Yeah.
And I thought it was the two girls that started, two young girls that started off the performance. And I thought to myself, God, their throats are not going to last if they're having to project so much. So yeah, sound design, I struggle to hear at times.
I really do think it affected my experience today. And on top of that, because the play uses very British accents,
Yeah.
and some different types of British accents as well, bringing it to Singapore, that's already going to be, like, even for me, some of them I was struggling because there was some very specific accents. I do think because we are a multicultural society here in Singapore with people from all around the world where English might not be first language as well, people are going to access this show in different ways.
Yes.
And when the accents are already hard enough to follow, plus the Roald Dahl made up words, and then you turn the sound down, I really hope they can fix that for the rest of the run because I think audiences are going to struggle with that a little bit. And I think it will just amplify. It just didn't hit me in my chest where I think it would have done if it was just a bit louder and a bit more atmospheric.
Yeah. Now then, ladies and gentlemen, as you know by now, when TJ and I go and see a piece of theatre, we always give it a rating out of 5 spoonfuls, but we never reveal how many spoonfuls we are going to give until the moment has come, and that moment is now. So, TJ, are you ready to rate the BFG?
Yes.
On the count of 3. Or 1, 2, 3, 3. Hello, we are the same. Okay,
Yes.
TJ, why a 3 for you?
For me, it's a 3 because it's a fantastic family show. I would say I had a lovely evening in the theatre. It didn't amaze me as much as I think my expectations were as much as I was expecting, because with RSC and all of this and all the hype and all of that, I thought my mind was going to be blown. I still had a lovely night. There's a lot of really good things to come and see. For me, it just wasn't my most memorable day in the theatre, and I think it also wasn't targeted at me.
Yes.
Yep.
Yep. Quite the same. As a big Roald Dahl fan, I loved how faithful to the text it was, how faithful to Roald Dahl it was, how faithful it was aesthetically to Quentin Blake, his illustrator. I loved all that. The story was so charming, so endearing, as were the performances. The puppetry was absolutely masterful, but again, I don't think I'm the target audience, and the sound just made me struggle a little bit.
Yeah.
But that's not to say that I haven't enjoyed it. I really have. It was marvelous, and a really, really good show.
Absolutely want to make sure you bring the kids to. Do not miss it while it's in town because the kids will love it.
Now then, Roald Dahl's The BFG is playing here at the Esplanade Theatre until the 9th of May.
Tickets are available on Sistic.
Now, my tea's gone cold, love. Shall we leave it there?
Let's.
Now, to the cast and crew of Roald Dahl's The BFG,
And to anybody performing in Singapore theatre, break a leg.
Now, the BFG is playing here at Esplanade Theatre until the 9th of May.
Typically, I'm making up Roald Dahl worlds now. Okay, one more time.